Hi everyone, my name is Dr. Hilary Booth and I'm a naturopathic doctor, and welcome to my video blog. This week we're going to be talking about the elusive perfect period. But before I get into that, I just want to remind you that it's now December, meaning that you do only have 1 month left before your extended healthcare insurance runs out. So if you'd like to start treatment with me, don't hesitate. Now's the time to book your appointment by going to www.drshaunagiroux.com. So now, the perfect period. So for many women, this is like a very elusive type of idea. Back in the early years of my naturopathic medical school, we had a professor named Dr. Paul Saunders, and he's one of the greats of our profession. And I remember sitting in one of his classes, and he was saying that a woman's period should come and go once every 26 to 34 days, like clockwork, with no pain, no PMS, no fatigue, no symptoms at all, save for the fact that she's menstruating. And I remember looking around at all the women in the room, and all of our faces were like, who is this guy as a man speaking to a room full of women that our periods should be perfect? And, you know, now I look back on this day and I realize that Dr. Saunders was right. If your hormones are in balance and your body has an adequate amount of nutrients and you are adequately dealing with your stress and your detox pathways, your period should indeed be perfect. So let's define perfect first. We're looking for bright red flow with no or few clots, and it shouldn't be dark purple, or it shouldn't be a rusty brown color. The flow should be not excessive, and it shouldn't either be barely there. It should kind of be somewhere in between. Of course, it varies from woman to woman, but we're not looking for sort of one extreme or the other. It should be regular from cycle to cycle, between day 1 to day 1, and it should be coming at a predictable time each month. It also should not be accompanied by mood swings. There should be no headaches or breast tenderness or back pain or cramps, fatigue. There should be no bloating, food cravings, and there should be no acne that come with it. Now I know this is a really tall order for a lot of women, but I want to encourage you to not be okay with having periods that are far from perfect. So if you are experiencing any or a lot of these symptoms, it may be time to start to analyze why this might be happening. So I want to try and go into the reasons why your period might not be up to snuff. The first reason is that your hormones are out of balance. The most common pattern of unbalanced hormones is what we call estrogen dominance. So this can be because there's too much circulating estrogen in the system, or because there's not enough progesterone. The two of them work together, and often either one's too high or the other one is too low. Now, estrogen is dominant in the first half of your menstrual cycle, and when estrogen peaks, that's when you ovulate. And after you ovulate, that's about day 14, so halfway through. So after you ovulate, the corpus luteum, or that egg that's been ovulated, actually takes over and starts producing progesterone. And this is what's more dominant in the second half of the cycle. And when both your hormones drop down, this is when you get your period. So if you have too much estrogen and not enough progesterone in the system, you get symptoms of heavy bleeding and cramps and painful periods. You also get symptoms where the estrogen causes the ducts in the breasts to enlarge, and this is what causes breast tenderness in some women. You can also get if you have sudden drops of the hormones, you're also going to get mood swings and fatigue, as well as other sorts of hormonal problems like acne. Now, why does estrogen dominance occur, and how do we correct this? It occurs because it's due to xenoestrogens, which are basically chemical substances that are not natural. They're from our environment that mimic the act of estrogen in our body. So our bodies see these xenoestrogens, and it thinks that it's an estrogen in the body. The xenoestrogens come from plastics. This is why I say no plastic water bottles. They come from BPA, they come from phthalates, and pesticides. Now they also come from, you can also get exogenous exposures to estrogen in things like non-organic and non-hormone free meats like chicken breast. So the best way to minimize your exposure is to switch to organic hormone-free meats, switch to organic all-natural products, including your cleaning products, your perfumes, the creams and soaps that you're putting on your skin, all have this estrogen mimicking property. So we want to try and avoid these as much as possible. And it's important to note that, again, you can have too much estrogen, but you can also have not enough progesterone in your body. And there are other kinds of ways that your hormones can be unbalanced that we're not going to cover here today. But you can get your hormones tested by coming in and seeing a naturopathic doctor. We'd be happy to test your hormones to see whether or not they're skewed from one way to another. You need to know what's going on in your body before you can treat in order to balance those hormones in the right direction. The second reason that you may be having non-perfect periods are because your detox pathways are inhibited. Now, this goes back to hormone balancing. Normally in the body, the liver is what processes and deactivates your hormones. It then excretes it into the bile, and then that goes through your digestive tract, and they're released from the body in your stool. If the liver isn't functioning optimally, it can't effectively process and deactivate these hormones, meaning you're going to have an excess amount of circulating hormones in the body. The second reason your detox pathways may not be working well is that your digestive tract isn't functioning properly to excrete those hormones once they're deactivated. If you are constipated, if you're not having at least 1 to 2 bowel movements per day, the hormones that were deactivated and put into the stool to be excreted from the body aren't excreted. They sit in the gut for too long, and they're reabsorbed into the bloodstream and reactivated, increasing the levels of hormones that are circulating around your body. And this, of course, is going to contribute to having a non-perfect period. Symptoms that your detox pathways might be inhibited include acne, especially stuff that gets worse around your period. That can be along the jawline or around the mouth. If you have abdominal bloating, if you have headaches and migraines, especially if they get worse just before your period, if you experience constipation, and of course any of the original symptoms that we spoke about earlier about having suboptimal periods. Things to do to improve your detox pathways. There are lots of things you can do. Increase your water intake and increase your fiber intake, especially flax seeds. These are going to help to improve the frequency of your bowel movements overall. Also, you can eat lots of garlic and onions, lots of veggies from the brassica family, including sprouts or Brussels sprouts and kale and cabbage. You can also talk to your naturopathic doctor about going on a liver cleanse or taking some liver supplements in order to boost the effectiveness with which your liver processes things. My third reason as to why you may be experiencing non-perfect periods is because you're deficient in nutrients. If you've been on the birth control for a while, or if you have come off of the birth control, if you're currently on the birth control, any of the above, you may be depleted in your essential B vitamins. Many women are depleted in these. Studies show that taking B vitamins, it has to be a robust B complex. This means none of that Jameson kind of stuff because it's not going to give you a high enough dose, but a good B complex can improve your mood and it can improve your energy levels. Specifically, B6 in particular regulates your periods by regulating your hormones. Again, it helps to process your hormones and restore hormone balancing. It also helps to reduce fluid retention and bloating that you might be experiencing. The other major nutrient deficiency that I see is a magnesium deficiency. And basically this can cause mood swings and migraines. It can cause bloating, painful periods, sugar cravings, and all these things again are because you don't have enough magnesium in the body. So if you crave chocolate before your period, this might be because you're deficient in magnesium. Magnesium-rich foods are really easy to incorporate into the diet. They include leafy greens, nuts, seeds, nettle, and yes, dark chocolate. So any of these kinds of things can help to improve the amount of magnesium you have in your body to help make sure that nutrient deficiency isn't the reason you're having imperfect periods. My fourth and final reason for why you may have unperfect periods is because you have an undiagnosed condition. So many undiagnosed hormonal conditions are out there and they may be causing your period to be abnormal. The first one is that PCOS. This is a condition that affects about 8% of women. It's a really prevalent condition. Basically, there are cysts on the ovaries that produce an abnormal amount of testosterone in the body, and this can cause lots of symptoms. Irregular periods, so not having periods consistently month to month is a big symptom. Acne, weight gain, and extra hair growth on the body can be all symptoms of PCOS. So if you want to know more about this, I'd encourage you to watch my video on PCOS and you can get all the information you need to know there. Other Other conditions that are underdiagnosed and may be causing you to have abnormal periods include either a hyperactive or a hypoactive thyroid condition. This can cause heavy or light menstrual flow, pain, and fatigue. You may also be suffering from endometriosis. This is a condition that can cause extremely painful periods. And they can also cause pain with intercourse. If you have either of those symptoms, that's something to get checked out. And finally, if you have long periods and heavy periods, you may have fibroids. These can also cause abdominal pain and low back pain, especially during your periods. So again, something to get checked out. All of these conditions can be treated with the correct diagnosis and with naturopathic care. It's just a matter of knowing that these conditions are happening in your body. So let's recap. The reasons that you may be having a non-perfect period are that your hormones are unbalanced, that your detox pathways are inhibited, that you're deficient in nutrients, or that you may have an undiagnosed condition. I would encourage you to book an appointment with me as soon as possible. Again, before the end of the year is a great time, but it's because what I'm really getting at here is that you don't have to settle for having a period that is painful or abnormal or causing acne or bloating or any sorts of mood swings and PMS symptoms. This is abnormal. And it's something that too many women are okay with. So I would encourage you to book an appointment with me and we can get to the bottom of why you're not having that perfect period and make some changes so that, yes, you can have that perfect period. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. Again, go to our website at drshaunadaru.com for more information or to book an appointment with me. Take care.